Welcome, gentle soul. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, you are exactly where you need to be. You don't have to fix anything right now. You don't have to pretend to be strong. You're not here to do more, or be more, or hold it all together. You're just here to be, to breathe, to remember. Take a deep breath in. Let it out, slowly, like a quiet wave returning to the ocean. Again, breathe in and let it go. Feel your shoulders soften, your jaw unclench, the tension you didn't even know you were carrying melting, breath by breath. This is your space now, a place where nothing is expected of you. No one is asking you to explain how you feel. No one is watching. No one is judging. Just you, and the part of you that has been waiting so long, to be held, to be heard, to come home. This is not a place of answers. It's a place of softness, of being honest, not with others, but with yourself. You don't have to know where this is going. You only need to know you are safe to begin. So let's begin together. To be born under the sign of Cancer is to live with a heart that remembers everything. Every word spoken in love, every silence that felt like abandonment, every time you were held, and every time you were left holding yourself. Cancer isn't just a zodiac sign, it's a tide. It pulls you inward into the ocean of memory, feeling, and intuition. You don't just hear the world, you feel it. The pain in someone's voice, the joy behind their eyes, the tension in a room. Before anyone says a word, you were not made to live on the surface. You were made for depth, for meaning, for bonds that stretch beyond logic and explanation. Some might call you too sensitive, but they don't understand what it takes to walk through life with a heart wide open, to carry the weight of your own emotions and the feelings of those you love. To love like the moon pulls the tide, constant, unseen and powerful beyond measure. You're the kind of person who will notice when someone's voice changes even slightly. You'll ask, "Are you okay?" Even when they say they're fine. You'll stay up just to make sure someone else gets home safe, even if no one checks on you. That's the beauty of Cancer. You love in ways the world has forgotten how to love. And yet, it can feel like a lonely gift, because people see your tenderness, but not the storms you navigate alone. They see your care, but not the emotional boundaries you've had to build and rebuild. Each time someone mistook your kindness for weakness. But hear this, your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is your compass. Your emotional world, that vast, shifting sea within you, is not a burden. It's a truth teller, a map, a mirror, a sacred gift that lets you connect with others in ways they may never fully understand, but will always feel. To be Cancer is to be the ocean and the shell, the sanctuary and the storm, the giver, the healer, the one who remembers even when everyone else forgets. So, if you've ever doubted your softness, if you've ever tried to toughen up just to survive, let this moment be your permission to return. Not to who the world wants you to be, but to who you already are underneath it all. A soul made of water and wonder, of memory and magic, of moonlight and marrow. You don't need to harden. You just need to come home. There is a kind of strength the world doesn't talk about. The quiet kind. The kind that wakes up every day with a heavy heart and still gets things done. The kind that wipes away tears before stepping into the room because others need you to be okay. Iksto, the kind that holds space for everyone else, even when no one is holding space for you. You know that kind of strength, don't you? You've worn it like armor, not because you wanted to, but because you had to. Because someone needed to hold things together, and somehow that someone was always you. Maybe you learned early on that emotions made people uncomfortable, so you learned to fold your feelings into quiet corners. Maybe you became the caretaker, the listener, the peacemaker, because if you were calm, then maybe the chaos around you wouldn't spill over. You've smiled when your heart was breaking. You've said, "I'm fine," so many times it became a second skin. You've reached out to comfort others, while secretly wishing someone would reach for you. But here's the truth, and I need you to hear it, not just with your ears, but with your soul. Strength is not the absence of vulnerability. Strength is showing up despite the weight. It's allowing yourself to feel without falling apart. It's the quiet decision to keep loving even after being hurt. It's staying soft in a world that taught you to harden. And my dear Cancer, you've been strong for so long, but you don't have to carry everything alone anymore. You don't always have to be the strong one. It's okay to let someone else be the lighthouse for once, to let someone hold you, to let go just a little. You are not weak for needing rest. You are not selfish for wanting to be seen. You are not dramatic for feeling deeply. You are simply human, tender, tired, and deserving of the same love you so effortlessly give to others. So pause here. Place your hand over your heart. Feel it beating. That's your proof you've survived every wave, every storm, every silent night spent wondering if anyone would ever really see you. And now, slowly, gently, let this be a turning point. Not the kind where you force yourself to rise again, but the kind where you whisper, "Maybe I don't have to do this all alone," because you never truly were. In the tarot, every zodiac sign is connected to a major arcana card. For Cancer, that card is the Chariot. At first glance, the Chariot looks like a symbol of power, of motion, of willpower conquering all obstacles. And it is. But when you look deeper, when you look through Cancerian eyes, it becomes something far more sacred, because the Chariot doesn't represent a wild, reckless charge forward. It's not about escaping your feelings or outrunning the past. The Chariot is about moving forward from a place of deep emotional alignment. It's about choosing direction after you've honored your heart. It's about knowing where you're going, not because you're rushing, but because you've made peace with where you've been. Look closely at the card. You'll see a warrior sitting inside a chariot. But their armor is decorated not with weapons, but with stars and moons, symbols of the cosmos, symbols of intuition, symbols of Cancer. They hold no reins. The sphinxes before them are black and white opposing forces, the conscious and unconscious, the known and unknown. And still, the charioteer trusts. They don't force control. They guide with inner will. They move with intention, not aggression. This is the sacred lesson of the Chariot. You can be soft and still unstoppable. You can have emotions and still choose your path with clarity. You can feel everything and still move forward. For Cancers, this card is not a command to push through. It's a mirror that says, you are stronger than you think, not because you're hardened, but because you've loved so deeply and are still here. The Chariot honors every part of your journey, every wound you've stitched quietly, every night you held yourself, every moment you wanted to give up, but didn't. It whispers to you now, you've come far, you're ready now. The road ahead will not require you to leave yourself behind. Let that sink in. You do not have to abandon your sensitivity to step into your power. In fact, your sensitivity is your power. And when you walk in alignment with your emotional truth, you become a force nothing can shake. Sometimes, the hardest thing you'll ever do is choose yourself. Not in the loud, glamorous, Instagram-worthy way, but in the quiet, unseen moments. The ones where no one is clapping, no one is watching, and yet your soul is waiting. You choose yourself when you stop over-explaining your feelings just to be understood. You choose yourself when you walk away from what drains you, even if it once felt like home. You choose yourself when you finally say, "This hurts me," even when you know it might change everything. For Cancers, choosing yourself doesn't come easy. You were made to nurture, to care, to hold space for the people you love, sometimes even when it costs you pieces of your own peace. But how long can a heart give without being filled? How long can you keep holding others if your own arms are shaking? This is where the real chariot journey begins. Not on some faraway road, but right here, in the sacred moment you whisper, "I matter too." Choosing yourself is not abandonment. It's not selfishness. It's a return to your center, to your truth, to the tender, intuitive core of who you are before the world told you to harden, to hush, to be small. And choosing yourself doesn't happen once. It happens every day, every hour, every time you say no to something that dishonors your heart, every time you say yes to something that feels like peace, even if no one else understands. You might not always get applause for it. You might feel guilt at first. You might second-guess yourself, because that's what empaths do. But still, choose yourself. Choose your soft mornings, your solitude, your laughter, your boundaries, your rest, your dreams, your energy. Because when you do, when you pour back into your own soul, you don't stop being nurturing. You become whole in your nurturing, and you begin to attract people who honor your depth instead of draining it. People who see you not just for what you give, but for who you are. You are not here to abandon yourself to belong. You are not here to prove your worth through exhaustion. You are here to return, again and again, to your own heart, until it becomes the safest place you know. Some memory don't fade, not because you're weak, not because you're living in the past, but because some parts of your soul are still holding pieces of who you used to be. You remember it all, don't you? The first time someone left without saying goodbye. The words that cut deeper because they came from someone you trusted. The moments when you loved so deeply, only to be met with silence or absence. You didn't just experience those moments. You absorbed them. You carried them in your chest, in your dreams, in the way you began to tiptoe around your own emotions, afraid to be too much again. Cancer remembers. That's both your gift and your wound. You carry history in your blood. You feel things in waves that others barely notice. And while the world moves on quickly, your heart stays behind for just a little longer, trying to make sense of it all. It's okay. You're not broken. You're loyal, even to your pain. You honor what happened, because it mattered, because you mattered. But here's something the past never taught you. You don't have to keep reliving it to respect it. You don't have to keep bleeding from the same place to prove that it hurt. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means looking back without losing yourself again. It means returning to those old rooms in your heart, the ones you closed long ago, and whispering, "I see you. I'm here now. You don't have to hurt alone anymore." Sometimes, healing means letting the younger version of you finally exhale. To tell her, or him, or them, you were never too much. You weren't crazy. They just didn't know how to love you in the way you needed. And that's not your fault. Sometimes, healing means rewriting the stories that echo in your head, the ones that told you love must be earned, that your softness is dangerous, that if you were just a little less sensitive, maybe they would have stayed. No, love, you were never the problem. You were simply a deep soul living in a shallow moment. You were offering the moon to people who only knew how to hold stones. Let the past rest now, not because it didn't happen, but because you no longer need to carry it like armor. You are not who you were back then. You've grown roots. You've found wisdom. And most importantly, you're still here, still open, still loving, still brave enough to try again. That is your victory. That is your quiet, holy strength. So, if the past still stings sometimes, let it. Breathe through it. Place your hand on your heart and remind yourself, I survived. I softened. I rose anyway. And that is something no one, not even time, can ever take from you. Somewhere along the way, the world told you that softness is a flaw. That to be tender is to be naive. That to be open is to be weak. That feelings are dangerous and vulnerability is a liability. So you started to hide it, didn't you? Your tears, your daydreams, your gentle voice. You wrapped yourself in layers, hoping to seem stronger, harder, more unbothered. But here's the truth the world doesn't tell you. Softness is not weakness. It's resilience in its purest, most powerful form. Because it takes courage to keep your heart open after it's been broken. It takes unimaginable strength to choose compassion when you've been met with cruelty. It takes power, real power, to stay kind in a world that often rewards the opposite. You, Cancer, are the embodiment of sacred softness. You feel everything. You read between silences. You sense what others try to hide. You don't just listen to words, you listen to the energy beneath them. That is not a weakness. That is a gift. One the world desperately needs. Because the truth is, hard people often break. But soft people bend and then bloom again. You adapt. You heal. You offer love, even in silence. You were not meant to armor yourself to survive. You were meant to be a harbor, calm, deep, safe. And even when storms rage within you, your soul still whispers, "Come home, it's okay to feel." Do not shrink your sensitivity to make others comfortable. Do not turn cold just to protect yourself from pain. You were not made to be indifferent. You were made to feel it all, the sorrow, the longing, the joy, the wonder. The world may call it weakness. Let them, because you know what it really is. It's the strength to sit beside someone's grief without needing to fix it. It's the grace to forgive when you could have chosen resentment. It's the bravery to say, "I love you" first, even if your voice shakes. It's the wisdom to know that tears aren't signs of breaking but of healing. So wear your softness like the moon wears her glow. Not loud, not seeking approval, just quietly radiant. Untouchable in her own sacred rhythm. You, dear Cancer, were never too much. You were exactly what you were meant to be, an ocean in human form, and what could possibly be stronger than that? You don't need a dramatic moment to start over. No fireworks, no perfect timing, no one else's permission, just one quiet truth. You are allowed to begin again. There is no shame in starting over. There is only courage. There is only softness meeting strength and saying, "Let's try again." Maybe the version of you who loved so hard last time didn't know what boundaries were. Maybe the you who stayed too long was still hoping to be chosen. Maybe the version of you that fell apart simply didn't know how to hold all that pain yet. That doesn't mean you failed. That means you lived. You tried. You cared. And now, you get to begin again. Wiser, gentler, quieter in your choices, but louder in your truth. You get to walk forward not because you've erased the past, but because you've integrated it, because it's no longer something you run from, but something you've woven into your strength. Starting again doesn't mean becoming someone else. It means returning to who you were before the world made you doubt your magic, before love broke your rhythm, before fear built walls where gardens used to grow. You are allowed to begin again, even if you're still grieving, even if you're still afraid, even if you're not sure where to go next. This time, you begin not from emptiness, but from wholeness, not to prove anything, but to reclaim yourself. You begin again when you decide, "I will not keep living in stories that no longer nourish me. I will no longer shape myself to fit what breaks me. I will write new pages even if my hands still tremble." Dear Cancer, your heart was made for renewal. Like the moon, you wax and wane. You shed. You rest. You rise again. No season lasts forever. No wound defines you. And no closed door is stronger than your will to return to life. So, begin again, softly if you must. One breath at a time, one boundary at a time. One brave morning where you rise and whisper, "This time, I choose me," because it's never too late. And you, beloved soul, are never too far gone. Your love is sacred. It's not common. It's not replaceable. It's not something that should be handed out like spare change to anyone who simply asks for it. You, Cancer, are not just kind, you are open. And because of that openness, many have walked into your world with muddy feet, not understanding the purity of the space they were stepping into. They didn't mean to destroy. Some didn't even notice, but they weren't ready to hold what you were offering. And still, you gave pieces of your soul, hours of your sleep, your light, your laughter, your listening. But now you know, not everyone deserves access to you. Just because someone reaches out doesn't mean you have to let them in. Just because someone misses you doesn't mean they've changed. Just because someone feels familiar doesn't mean they're safe. You have a right, a birthright to protect your peace, to guard your tenderness, to draw a line not out of anger, but out of honor. You've spent years learning to love others well. Now is the season where you learn to love yourself that deeply, to hold your own heart as sacred, and to understand that being loving doesn't mean being available to everyone. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is close the door, not with hatred, not with drama, just with the quiet conviction that says, I no longer open my heart to those who leave me empty, because energy is currency, and you've paid too high a price for people who only came to take. You've watered too many deserts hoping for growth. You've said yes too many times when your soul was screaming, please, not this again. You don't owe anyone your healing. You don't owe anyone a second chance to hurt you the same way. You don't owe anyone the pieces of yourself that you've worked so hard to put back together. And listen, protecting your energy isn't you being cold. It's you finally being clear. It's you saying, I am no longer a mirror for others to project onto. I am a light. And only those who walk with care may enter. So keep your heart open, yes, but not unlocked. Not everyone gets a front row seat to your softness. Not everyone is meant to see your sacred tears or witness the wild beauty of your inner world. Let the worthy find you. Let the aligned rise to meet you. You are not here to be consumed. You are here to be cherished. And that begins with you. You've spent so long being everything for everyone. The healer, the listener, the keeper of peace, the one who never lets go, even when it hurts to hold on. But now it's time to come home. Not to a place, not to a person, but to yourself. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are simply tired from carrying so much for so long. You've wandered through storms, loving people who didn't know how to love you back, pouring light into rooms that never reflected it. And yet you still love, you still believe, you still show up. That is your magic, Cancer. But even the moon needs rest. Even the ocean pauses between tides. And your soul, too, is whispering, come back to me. Come back to your body. Breathe deep. Touch your heart. Feel the rhythm that is uniquely yours. Come back to your truth. Not what others needed you to be. Not what survival demanded. But who you are beneath the roles. Beneath the people-pleasing. Beneath the fear. Come back to the soft parts. The child inside you who still believes in miracles. The woman or man inside you who still hopes for a gentle kind of love. The spirit inside you that knows, I was born to feel deeply. And that is not a flaw, that is my purpose. Coming home doesn't mean escaping. It means choosing presence. Choosing to stop abandoning yourself when things get hard. Choosing to sit with your loneliness and say, I'm here. I won't leave you again. It means building a sanctuary inside your own skin. One where peace is not conditional, where love is not negotiated, where your emotions are not problems to solve, but waves to surf, sacred signals from your soul. And here's the truth. No love will ever feel like home until you do. So create it, slowly, softly, day by day, with candles, with silence, with tears that wash the dust off your joy. Speak gently to yourself. Hold space for your growth. Let yourself be messy and magnificent all at once. You don't have to earn this homecoming. It's your birthright. It's always been waiting. And when you finally arrive, when you finally choose you, the world will shift, because there is nothing more magnetic than a heart that is no longer looking to be saved, but has become its own sanctuary. So welcome home, Cancer. You made it. And from this place, everything becomes possible again.